Why get married and it turns out to be a prayer request? Why jump into a boat that will give you pain? Something is wrong. When marriage becomes work, it becomes a burden. Something is wrong. There will not be a day where you see an open land today and tomorrow you come and there are crops growing. If you want to see nice crops, nice thing, you will have to plant it. If you live in open land, tomorrow when you come, you'll find anything and everything that is not useful. Nothing good grows by itself. Life of the couple, the first 5 years, you come to discover each other. You did not know that this man who speaks so eloquently snores so badly. You feel like I'm putting him on Facebook, recording him. Because the kind of sound that is coming out of him, you ask yourself, did I marry a frog?
This is a presentation of Hallelujah Ministries International.
The third thing is pride. Pride in marriage destroys everything. In marriage, if your marriage has to be well, stop being Mr. Right and Mrs. Right. Is your way or the highway? You always get it wrong. That's pride. There's never been a time where you say sorry. There's never been a time where you say, I've done wrong. As far as you're concerned, you are the only right person ever. I was doing counseling with this couple, and I realized that every time it goes the husband's way, the wife doesn't like counseling. That counseling was a bad counseling that day. For the counseling to be well, the counselor, meaning myself, I had to take side with the wife. Say, oh, you are right. Meaning that I'm perfect. You are imperfect. No one is perfect. It doesn't matter if you pray in tongue 24/7. You have areas that needs the grace of God, that needs to be fixed. Are you hearing me? So pride destroys marriage. Learn to accept to humble yourself in your marriage. How many of you ever seen a bicycle? A bicycle in your life? Not in your dream, but in your life. You see, a bicycle has 2 pedals. And the mechanism of its moving requires that when one pedal goes up, the other one goes down. If the 2 of them try to go up, the bicycle will fall. You must keep balance. When one goes up, you also go up. There'll be flames in the house. You know what I'm talking about? Learn to humble yourself. A brother told me, I don't know if I have to join your church. I said, why? Because my wife, she will say things that will hurt me, and after that locks herself, pray in tongue in the Holy Ghost. So I said, no, my church doesn't teach that. After hurting me with all kind of words, she locks herself. Yakababa, hekaraba shata, rababa shata. Please say with your hands on your chest, say, I'm not always right.
I'm not always right.
Say again, I'm not always right.
I'm not always right.
It's not a sin. Say it again. I'm not always right.
I'm not always right.
Some of you are convinced in your seat. Even when you say, I'm not always right, everything say, hey, what do you see? Hey. Say it again. Touch your chest. Say, I'm not always right.
I'm not always right.
JP, you're not always right. Not knowing the true person, your true spouse, trying to keep the person rather than winning the persons every day will destroy your marriage. Pride will come like cancer and destroy your marriage. Selfishness You see, when selfishness is found in the couple, no matter what you say, it must be one way. Some people are so egocentric. They feel like they got married for them. This marriage must work for them. If they don't see them in the center of this marriage, they don't want it. If I have to advise a son of mine, boy, growing up, I say marriage, if you don't find you also in, don't go in. Why will you marry somebody just for her? Why will you marry somebody only for him? There are cultures in Africa where a man is eating, the wife cannot be eating. She must sit there, watch him eat. And when he has to spit something out of his mouth from the eating, the woman must put their hand. That's slavery. That is slavery. Selfishness will destroy any marriage. You are married not only for you. The best way to survive in your marriage is to have this mentality. I will make him my king. And he comes with this mentality. I will make her my queen. So all you do is to make him, not you. No, what am I going to get? No. Egocentric mentality will kill your marriage, will kill any relationship. You must know that the best conversation and the best point or subject of conversation is always the person you're speaking to. Everyone wants to speak about himself. Because naturally we are like that. Naturally. If you sit in counseling and you begin to tell the person the word of God, the Bible says, the person is listening is lost. But just ask the person, tell me what you think. It's naturally. So if now, in the entire setup of marriage, I don't find me, all I find is you. My mind, my heart is destroyed. My body may still be there. You lost to me. The day I will have an opportunity out, I will go. So, break selfishness. Be mindful of your wife. Be mindful of your husband. You eat in restaurant and you spend 1,000 rand. But yet the meal for everybody in the house, you let 500. Witchcraft is on fire. It's not. Fifth point. In marriage, learn to manage the outside forces. I say manage them. Because there will always be forces outside. And the outside forces are not evil forces. As long as you manage them. Some people have conflict in their marriages because they do not know how to handle the influence of parents or the involvement of parents or families. Families outside can destroy your marriage if you do not know how to manage it. When the two becomes one, the Bible says, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined with his wife, and the two shall become one. You must leave. To live here does not imply to abandon them. It just means that your attachment and your priorities are now different. Now, once it is done, you must then not cut away your family. It will be a pity if tomorrow my son, after all that I've invested in him or in them, will cut me off as if I'm the evil part. No, that would be bad. You don't do that. But what do? You manage it. There must be a way for you to allow that water to flow without it becoming toxic or destroying your family. Knowing how to manage the outside forces, be it friends, families, parents, is key. If you do not manage it well, that's destroying you. Your mother-in-law needs now to check on what is happening in your bedroom. That is too far. Are you hearing me? So you must talk. When you get married, love each other's family. You see wrong in my family, but you want me to see good in your family. If there is wrong in my family, there is also wrong in your family. Don't pull me one side. You know, everybody in the family, Daddy, I tell you, they are witches. Hey. Now, this is a conversation between me and my daughter. They are witches. Hey, Daddy, you have to see. When you just look at them, you can see witchcraft all over. Really? Yay, Daddy. How do you know that? I just know I'm prophetic. I'm apostolic. Are you hearing me? If you will fix those little things in your family, in your marriage, for a start, you will be tuned in the right direction. Now, everything I say here may provoke one thought or one line in your mind. If there is something you really want to talk about and go deep on that, and that you cannot wait for the retreat, the couple's retreat, find a pastor and say, we're finding it difficult to deal with our in-laws. They are too much. Because there are in-laws who are too much. Especially the men's side. They want to get involved and oppress somebody else's daughters. Because, you know, some people think that you married a product. You know, you brought, she's now in the family to do. So if you feel like there is a dynamic that you cannot handle, please approach the pastors, the leaders, and I will see how we can hold your hand. There are 6 things that you have to implement in your marriage, in your relationship, if it has to work. The first thing is love. Marriage is all about love. Marriage is all about love. And the love I'm talking about here is not romance. It is true love. And true love is seen through acts of kindness. True love is seen through acts of kindness. Acts of kindness. The first thing, if you really want your marriage to stand, there must be love. And I know that we all begin with a lot of love. And along the way, if we do not know how to manage the issues of life, love begins to decrease and decrease and decrease. It is my prayer that God may restore love today in your life, in your marriage, in your relationship. Love, acts of kindness toward each other. Giving should not be one way. Giving should be both ways, 2 ways. Make sure that you show love. You keep on showing love. You do not know what one act of kindness can do in somebody's life. One act can change everything. One act can chase so many demons in your marriage. Show love through acts of kindness. And those acts of kindness are not always normal. No, ordinary and expected. No, I'll give you money for grocery. Giving me money for grocery is not an act of kindness. Are you hearing me? So make sure that you always have it. It must be plain. As I said earlier, good things do not grow by itself. You have to put your mind in it. It must be a plain thing. I will do this, and I will do it this way for me to succeed in this manner. Are you hearing me? The second thing, if your marriage has to stand, there must be respect. When there is no respect, even love is undermined. Love is good. Respect affirms it. There must be respect. And respect is on how you treat each other. How do you speak to each other? Oftentimes in our conversation, in our communication, it's not really what we say, but how we say what we say. A man who loves the wife will know how to speak to the wife. A wife who loves the husband will know how to speak to the husband. No one has the right to scream at another. Your husband is not your child. Your wife is not your child. It doesn't matter how bad your day may have been. You must refrain and collect yourself before you speak. Don't just lash out. Respect is key. Respect plays with the honor of a man or of a woman. A person who is not respected is dishonored. So, speaking with respect and treating each other with respect is one of the greatest foundation of any relationship. The Bible said that Sarah called Abraham, my Lord, ruler over me. Respect. You know, this is just in a bracket. A man will be ignored in his own house. Completely. He's present as if he's not present. You hear the car coming or you hear the door open, you know it's him. You carry on doing your own things. He will do his own thing. Now, when this man finds a concubine who waits for him at the door, celebrate him as he walks in. Hey, I like your shirt. Hey. It's finished. You lose him. Lack of respect in marriages have made couples so weak and vulnerable. So weak. And this goes both sides. An Uber driver that picks your wife, every time she enters, say that, Madam, I'm glad you are here. The last time she heard somebody being glad that she was there was when you got married. Now, every time she enters the Uber, say, Madam, I'm glad you are here. Hey! Rababo sekata rebeshia rama zekato yobo sheketeri. Lack of respect in the house have made men and women so vulnerable. A man will drop on his knees simply because somebody has complimented him in a certain way. Finish. Why? Because the house has lost substance. That out there, this man you see is vulnerable. This woman you see is vulnerable. Why? Because we fail to do what we're supposed to do. And respect is one area. Respect your wife. Respect your husband. Your marriage, your relationship will stand. I've seen many couples wanting to build a good marriage, but they fail to be good friends. Third, friendship. No marriage will stand unless there is foundation of friendship. You must be friend with the person you have married. Build that friendship. Build that time where you can talk. In the questionnaire here, there is one who say, I love to have a one-on-one with you. That friendship is key. We must be together. We must be friends. Are you hearing me? Build friendship. Spend time together. You have time for everybody, but for your wife or for your husband. When is the last time you had a meal together? When is the last time you had a meal together? Besides now, of course. Do you do things just because of the two of you? Just me and you. 4, there will be no marriage that will stand unless you have a forgiving heart. No matter what you do, you will step on each other's toes. Learn to forgive each other. Forgiveness is key. Forgive your wife. Forgive your husband whenever you can. Now, when you see people who have been together for 43 years, I tell you, the secret that keeps people together is the ability they develop in solving their problems. The secret that keeps people for 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 43 years together is the ability they have developed in solving their problems. There will always be problems. And that no problem is impossible to resolve. If you can solve your problem, you will remain together. Instead of giving up on each other, at times, what you gotta do is forgive each other. Look at your wife or your husband if you brought him or her. Say, I forgive you. Now, he's wondering if you know. He's wondering, hey, does she know? Does he know? Look again and say, I forgive you. So this is key. You have to learn to forgive each other. And when you forgive, you forget. To forgive is to delete. To forgive is not to keep in the reserve, in the storeroom for next use. When you keep on reminding each other of the past mistakes you have not forgiven, you're doing it again. Huh? You're doing it again. Just last month you did it, and you're doing it again. So it simply means that you had not forgiven him. You put him there in the shower, and now you're pulling it again. Are you hearing me? Fifth thing, if you have to keep a balance and a healthy marriage and relationship, you must build your communication. You must build your communication. Now here, I'm not just speaking about fellowshipping. I'm really talking about you knowing how to speak to each other, knowing how to convey messages, knowing how to exchange. You have to have a platform of communication. There are matters that can only be resolved through communications. There are mountains that turns to plains only through communication. If you do not have communication skills, you should not be with anybody. Unless you have communication skills, you will destroy everyone around you. You will have to communicate. And if you do not have that skill, you must ask God, help me be a communicator. To speak does not always relate to communicating. You can be speaking and not communicating. I have seen couples speaking past each other. They're not communicating. They're doing like Chinese movies. You know, I love Chinese movies because there is no heart problem. The movie starts, you see this one jumping and beating this one. You don't know who hurt who. They just blah. And before you know it, the movie is finished. Da-na-na, da-na-na. You didn't understand. You just saw the move of the fight and so forth. All right? So I have seen people speaking past each other and not communicating. If you will develop the ability to communicate, it will be a weapon in your hand against any odds you can come across. The ability to communicate. Now, there is a level of communication that every couple must have. It comes with a lot of love and a lot of trust. This level of communication is called Zaud. It's called Zaud. It's spelled Z-O-U-D. Zaud. You must get in the place of Zaud. Zaud stands for zone of uncomfortable debate. Zone of uncomfortable debate. Zaud. So this is part of communication. I give you an example. I believe that you are all married, or you are to get married, or you are whatever, but we are all in the level of maturity. There is a couple that had a difficulty, and they were really at the verge of divorce. And this is a true story, and I thank God for the prophetic for that. This man was a very huge, strong man. He's a mechanic, and he really works himself under the cars and so forth. He carries stuff. He's muscled. He's like one of the WWE, guy. He's a black, dark African fellow. He's married to a princess, a lady who takes time to make sure that the nails look like nails, because some nails, you look at it, you say, oh. She makes sure that her nails are polished, her hair is done, she takes care of her work, whatever she does. So this giant man, strong man, is married to a princess who takes time on how she looks, how she smells, and so forth. This is a true story. Now, this brother, this is his routine. He works hard for his family. Everything he has, he fought to have. He goes to his workshop. He works, fix cars. He comes back covered with all kind of oil of cars and so forth. He leaves work and comes back around about 6. He gets home, and his routine, he goes straight to his sofa and rest from the garage. He parks the car. He comes there and rest. He watches TV. He watches the news. They bring his food right there. He's tired. He worked hard. The food is there, and he eats. And after eating, he watches the news. After 8, he starts snoring. And this is his routine. He will rest till around about 10 or 11. And 10 and 11, when he wakes up, he goes to the bedroom and he wants to be intimate with the wife. Now, I'm telling you, this type of wife is a princess. This guy had to go and take a shower. You see? And he comes and finds a way to have an intimate relationship with the wife at that moment. While they're going through that, the wife is crying, feels violated. Everything with this man that I love is not good because all the oil, kind of story. And that this has been the routine. And he quickly picked up that this woman does not like to be in bed with me. It started disturbing him. Now, while he's working hard, some flying devils started saying that, you are working hard here. That princess, do you know why when you go home, she doesn't want you? Could it be that there is somebody else? Hey, Jesus. So I'm working hard. The possibility is that my wife is cheating. There is a disease called mythomany. It's a mind disease. In mythomany, lies becomes truthful. In mythomany, you say to yourself, oh, Mighty doesn't like me. Yes, Mighty doesn't like me. Mighty doesn't like me. A simple thing, mythomany, it becomes reality. And you begin to say to people, Mighty doesn't like me. You want to kill me? You create an issue. Now this man said to himself, my wife is cheating. Yes, she's cheating. Yes. One thing led to another. The relationship was literally destroyed. Now, the wife, from where she comes from culturally, cannot address issues of dirt with the husband. It is a huge insult. So she started looking for something else. No, I'm tired. And family got involved. You know, family, if it is your family, they take your side. This one, take the side. It became a huge issue. Somebody say, I thank you for the prophetic. No, every counseling was touching things that were not the issue. Because they could not speak of matters. It was too uncomfortable. Too uncomfortable to begin to talk about this issue until one day we had to confront the matter. And as the matter was confronted, the reality came that this woman is not cheating. The only reason why she is not open in being with you is because when you come from work, you want to bath the following day. Fire on you. You see, a simple thing could have destroyed all of them. Why? Because they did not have the means to discuss matters that are uncomfortable. Somebody say, Zawud. Build yourself. In a relationship, if you cannot talk about certain issues, you have a problem. And as you build yourself closer and develop trust, you must be able to deal with issues without pulling each other down. There are issues that are difficult to talk about by nature. So you don't need to add more salt. By nature, it's already a painful issue. But you can still talk about it. You know, there is a problem. You are trusting God for a child, and it is a very sensitive issue. If you don't talk about it, the enemy will use it. So find a way to keep on communicating so you may be in the same mind as you walk the journey. There is no finance. Finance comes from one side. You know, the lady brings money and the man does not have. And that you feel like is too much. As a man, you don't want to talk about, you don't want to hear that. Every time they talk about it, say, I'll not use your car anymore. I'll be using Uber. We know that you're lying. You still use that car. Okay? You need to have a zawud, a zone of uncomfortable debate. Are we together? Lastly, if you want your marriage to be stable, you must fight to become the change you want to see. You must fight to become the change you want to see. It is easy to ask for change. You must change. You must be better. But it is more difficult for you to become that change. Fight to become the change you want to see. Whatever you see out there can change if that change comes from you. Again, I want to close now. We have gone way past our time. On the 6 things that you have to do to make sure that your marriage is stable and that you have a healthy marriage. 1, love. 2, respect, friendship, forgiveness, communication, and become the change you want to see.
If you were blessed by this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can catch Pastor Alph LUKAU on AMI TV on the public bouquet or on our live stream on AMITV.com. You can follow Pastor Alph LUKAU on all social media platforms at Alph LUKAU.